day during another subject at another time. And I'm okay with that. All right. We've got so much to get into. So let's go ahead and jump on into it. The last time that we really got into man to man, we were talking about it's a man's world. All right. Then we took a break and we talked, I won't say a break, but we talked with Pastor Mike Robinson just about, men and men things and men having the space to do men things, which is actually something that we're going to spend a month talking about. We're going to spend a month. That's one of my topics that I have here in my book that I write all my little notes in, right? But today, we're talking from the subject or the topic of man up, all right? Man up. And, or just be a man about it. And I want us to really look at this because, see, when you begin to talk from that topic or that subject of manning up, just being a man about it, one of the things that I find to be so very interesting about this topic and about this subject is that, uh, you know, we as men, and especially even beyond men, as boys, we're always taught this one thing: oh, just man up, man up, man up. A little boy starts crying, say, hey, cut that out, man up. Stop crying, just be a man, just be a man. And anytime that a man has something happen or going on in his life, what is he often told? He's told to man up, right? He's told to be a man. Think about it. Think about it just for a second. Whenever I'm not picking on women. I don't want women to think that I'm picking on you, but I'm just using you all as an example. But let's say you catch a man in a lie. You say, "Oh, just man up and tell me the truth. Just be a man about it. Tell me the truth." As if men are not supposed to lie, or as if men should never, you know what I mean? And they're not supposed to, but should never, like, as if even, you know what I mean? Uh, uh, just hear me out on this. When a man cries and all of that, and we say, "Oh, just be a man about it. Come on." Something happens. No, just man up. Be a man about it. Just. There's so many ways, so many times, and so many situations where men are told to just man up. They show too much emotion. They're told to man up. They cry. They're told to man up. They lie. They're told to be a man about it and tell the truth. And yes, I agree that men should be truthful. Yes, I agree, that a man should be, but there is more to a man than just being strong. There's more to a man. And then we get this other spot or the side of the spectrum where a man becomes too strong, a man becomes too dumb, and you're like, "Ooh, look, what's wrong with him? Who done hurt him? It's been years and years, right? Let me help you understand. It's been years and years of our mothers, right? Of our sisters, of our other loves in our lives telling us, "Oh, you need to man up. You need to be a man, just be a man about it." And from all of that, from a child on up to man. So we just figure all you want is us to be, strong and be the hammer and all that all the time. And when I'm talking like just drive the force, and as far as we got to be the disciplinarian, we've got to be the you know what I mean? Like when I think of a hammer, what is a hammer? Don't do anything soft. You know what I mean? Like I don't use a hammer, when I need a soft touch. No, no, no. I use the hammer when I need to drive in a nail, or even sometimes, when I have screws that don't want to that have stripped, and so I can't twist them no more. I just grab the hammer and I go ahead and knock it all the way in, right? And that's what it seems as though many women find themselves uh, telling us to be. And I told you already that a man's world is full of pressure, but when he's constantly hearing and constantly being told, man up, just man up, be a man about it. Well, then here's the question. Here's the question that arises in most men's mind is, well, what is your definition of a man? What is it that you're expecting as a man or in a man? And so I want to encourage those who are under the sound of my voice, who were not born as a male, right? who were not born or assigned, rather. Uh, it's, I'm sorry, it's ridiculous to me that I have to use those terminologies, but in the day and the age that we're in, I have to say the things that way. If you were not born as a male, right? If the gender you were assigned at birth was not male, I'm trying to help you. I'm trying to help you to understand that as a man, this is some of the pressures that we face. And this is some of the things that cause a man to become so, as y'all talk about how a man can be so emotionless, right? You don't never show no emotion. You don't never. Well, he's been told every time he's shown emotion in previous relationships. And again, I'm talking about from being a toddler on up. He's been told to just be a man up, right? And so when it comes to emotion, men have associated in their minds because of all that has happened to them over the years. Emotions are not good. Emotions are not what she wants to see. Emotions are not a part of what I need to do if it is that I want this woman in my life. Because I don't know, woman won't no emotional man, right? That's what we've heard. Now, here's the that's um, the forefront of that. Now here's the backside of that. As men, as men, what we need, what we need is a place where we can express emotion, whatever it is that we're feeling. And it has to be, for a man to do it, it has to be a safe place. So my challenge, again, to all those out there who were not born as a man or who were not assigned uh, the title of male, the gender of male at birth, right? That means you were assigned the gender of female, right? You were born a woman, of a female, right? Uh, then here is the challenge. Here's the takeaway. Be a safe place. Don't shun the man. Don't uh, criticize the man. Don't uh, you know chastise the man if he shows you his emotions. Allow him, all right? Allow him to show emotions. Allow him to be vulnerable, right? And it be a safe place. If you want a man, and then again, this is man to man, but I understand we have women listening, so I have to make sure it's relevant to all people. Uh, so if you want a man to love you for life, if you want a man to be loyal to you for life, if you want a man to be in your life and to stay in your life, be a safe place for him to be vulnerable. Be a safe place for him to share his thoughts, his emotions, his feelings, because men have emotions too. Men hurt too. Men want to cry sometimes as well, right? And honestly, we need to cry. I mean, the truth of the matter is that many times, many men hold stuff in until it gets, and I talked about this on last, it was 2 weeks ago now, or yeah, about almost a week or two ago. I talked about how a man's world is full of pressure, right? And what happens is that pressure continues to build because the man has no safe place to outlet that pressure, right? I told you sometimes we do it through sex. Sometimes we just sit with our favorite beverage and we watch TV shows and movies, or some men go in their workshop and they build and they work on things, or whatever the case may be. There's different ways that different men relieve that pressure. But then there are those who just hold that pressure in. And watching TV don't help. Drinking alcohol or their favorite beverage doesn't help. Drinking, none of that really fully helps. So they keep all this pressure inside until a major event happens. Then you say, well, what major event? It could be the death of a parent. It could be the death of a friend or a loved one. And something in there just kind of snaps. Have you ever seen a man who you've never seen cry a man who you've never seen break down. He's never had, all of a sudden something happens and he just snaps, he just breaks down, or he just throws a fit of where he just starts breaking stuff, or fussing and hollering and all of that. I just want you to know, yeah, that's what happens. That's what happens. That's what happens when a man doesn't have a safe place to release, is that at some point it's going to explode. It's going to either be in anger, depending on if he's full of anger, he'll be, if he's full of resentment, it's going to come up, it's going to come out. And that's why, see, and even when we talk about that resentment side of things, that's why, again, when you keep telling a man, oh, just be a man about it, and the man say, all right, well, he trying to tell you he don't like his job, he don't like this, he don't like that, then that resentment keeps building up, and then all of a sudden it explodes. And oftentimes the person who receives the other side of that explosion are the ones closest to us. And it's not so much, that we want to hurt you, or that we trying to hurt you, or that we don't like you, or whatever. It's just we've been holding in so much for so long, and it hasn't had a place to release. And then now all of a sudden, here's the opportunity for it to release. There's only one place that it's gonna go. It ain't gonna go to nobody who we don't know. No, no, no. It's gonna go to the person or the people who are closest to us. I want to encourage you. I want to encourage you, fellas. Fellas, let's talk man to man. We've got to find a safe place. Even if you say, okay, I have some thoughts, some feelings, some whatever that I don't feel like I can express in front of my wife, because if she really knew how I think sometimes, if she really knew some of the stuff that goes on in my head, I don't know if she would love me the same. You know what I mean? If that's the place that you find yourself in, I want to encourage you, fellas. Find a safe place. And I don't recommend it be another woman, but what I do recommend is that you find a counselor, that you find maybe a therapist. And listen, especially in the African American community, let's not get let's get this thing out of our head that only crazy folks need therapy. That only No, no, no. Some people need therapy to keep from going crazy. I'm just being real. Some folks need therapy in order to help them to deal with some of this stuff, because they have no other place to release it. And I understand. You may say, "Well, I ain't got no money for that." Well, then let me encourage you. Find you a prayer closet where you can just unload to the Father, and you can tell God everything that's going on with you. You can cry in front of God if you need to. You like whatever it is that you need to do, you can do it right there with the Father. And if whatever the emotions are. Now let me explain something, and I'm going to explain something that I have less time than what I actually need to explain it, but I'm going to try to do it in the time that I have. Listen, if what is in you is a lot of anger, I want you to understand something. And I know that God is God and that God is holy, but God understands anger. And if you are just, if you like, Lord, look, and then you say an expletive or two, God's not gonna curse you for if it's not that you're cursing God. I need somebody to understand there's a difference between me like just having some real emotions and issues, and I'm trying to be all cute and hold it in because I'm trying to talk to the holy God. But this is a God who made you, who knows you, who understands. And even if you don't verbalize those things to him, he still knows and understands what's on the inside of you. So if what's on the inside of you is some cussing and all that, he understands it because he knows the heart. So I'm trying to encourage somebody today. Talk to your Father, God, right? And just say, look, whatever is on your heart, whatever's on your mind. Look, if I can be as transparent and real and honest, even if you feeling a little horny, right? I have to be honest. As men, we feel these things, and you don't have a place that you can release any of that. Talk to God about it. Say, God, look, I am struggling right now. I'm look, you know, you made her, you made them. You see how they look, how they out here strutting around, whatever. I say strutting, but they just going about their normal lives, and God, every bit of it is appealing to me, and I want it. And God, I'm trying to live right. I'm trying to help me, right? You've got to do that sometimes. I'm telling you, I've been a single man, and I'm married, and I understand both sides of it, right? So wherever you are in life, whatever's going on, you say, "Well, I can't afford a therapist." All right, you've got a free one in God. Tell him all about your troubles. Tell him all what's going on, and I promise you, he will not leave you, nor will he forsake you. But he'll send Holy Spirit, right? And Holy Spirit will minister to you and comfort you and guide you and keep you even in that moment. So man to man, I know everywhere you go, every they tell you to man up. But let me tell you, there is a person who you can go to. There's a place where you can go and you can tell them everything that's going on with you. And you don't have to worry about any backlash. You don't have to worry about any drama, anything coming back upon you. It's a safe place where if you need to cry, you can cry. If you need to fuss and curse, you can. And he hears you. He knows you. He understands. You see, that's why he says that you know, the Spirit makes intercession for us in groanings and utterings that can't be understood. Because so some of our prayers do have to go through a filter because they can't enter directly into God's ears. So what does he do? He has the filter that takes that and says, all right, now let me make intercession for you. Let me put that in terminologies and words that the Father can understand. So I just want to encourage you, brothers. I know everywhere you've turned, everywhere you go, you've been told to man up. Just be a man. Just be a man. I'm going to close with this story. Little Timothy, right? Y'all have heard me mention Timothy on this show before, and I've even had Timothy on this show before. Timothy is now, I think, 7. Yeah, he's like 7 now, right? And Timothy, from when he first was able to talk, from about 3-4 years old, Timothy has always said when he grows up he wants to be just one thing. I just want to be one thing. And he's always told me. He's always said it. He'll tell his mama, anybody, I just want to be a man. I just want to be a man. I just want to be a man. And finally, I talked to Timothy when he got a little older, and I said, well, what is a man to you? What does that mean? You just want to be a man. He said, I want to be able to take care of my mom. I want to be able to, do this and do that. I just want to be a man. I want to. So listen, take care of your responsibilities. That's what a man does. He takes care of his responsibilities. But then at the same time, know that a man can also be vulnerable. A man can also, be angry, upset. Like, he can be real. That's how I want to close this. A man can be real. Real means he has emotions. Real means that he has a voice, a say so. And even sometimes he just wants to be left alone. Now, this was our final man-to-man segment of January, which means we're moving into February and we're moving into a new subject matter. So we've been talking about the totality of a man, and really this entire year we're going to be dealing with the totality of the man, right? But to this month we dealt with, can you handle the totality of a man? But all this year, that's what we're dealing with during Man to Man, is the totality of a man. And so starting next month, I want to talk about the duality of a man, the duality of a man. And you say, well, what do you mean by the duality, man? I'm gonna have I'm gonna take 2 weeks probably and deal with the superhero versus the alter ego. Join me next next Wednesday, this coming Wednesday, uh, at 11:30, and we'll get into our segment Man to Man, and we'll talk about the duality of man, the superhero versus the alter ego, and we all are Superman, but we're also Clark Kent, right? We're also Clark Kent. We all are Batman, but we're also Bruce Wayne. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. It's gonna be good. It's gonna be good. We all are Black Panther, right? Black Panther, Wakanda forever. But then we also all are a little T'Challa. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I can't wait to share this with you. I'm so excited about this. Be sure to join me next week, 11:30 a.m. on Wednesday morning, from Man to Man. All right, all right, friends. All right. Yeah, I pray you enjoyed that. Let's go ahead now and transition